Hello, today I'm gonna share with you the books that are on my pile of possibilities, my hopefuls for Shorty September. My name is Marcella, by the way. I'm gonna try and do the booktube thing. So Shorty September is a month-long readathon hosted by Bert and Sean over at the Storytime and Heather over at Soggy, Expat Bookworm, and it's a month-long readathon where you read short books. What defines as a short book, they sort of leave up to you. Some say under 200 pages, some say under 250 pages, and they have a sort of prompt card with loads of different prompts that you can do. But since it is my first time doing this readathon, I thought I would just make it a little bit easier for myself and don't do the prompts, but just read loads of short books. And today I wanted to share with you all the options I had. I went for books under 250 pages because if I did it a little bit more strict and set under 200, then this would be a really short video because I don't have that many books under 200 pages on my bookshelf. You know, lots of them are sort of just over 200. So yeah, here we go. I have 10 books to talk about today, and I'm going to start with some non-fiction books. And the first one is called Ace, What Asexuality Reveals About Desire, Society and the Meaning of Sex, and this is written by Angela Chen. It doesn't necessarily look like a super short book, but it is in fact 190 pages. This is a book on asexuality, which is a part of the LGBTQIA+ spectrum that I don't really know that much about, and I think especially the subtitle really spoke to me. I think it will teach me something about the way society thinks about sex, which should be interesting. The next book I have is The Living Mountain by Nan Shepherd. There goes a bookmark. This is a nature writing classic. Nan Shepherd writes about her journeys into the mountains, the Cairngorm Mountains of Scotland. I probably said that wrong. Yeah, I love nature writing, and I think this is going to be really good as well. Talking about nature writing, the next book I have is called Gathering Moss by Robin Wall Kimmerer, and I read Braiding Sweetgrass last year or the year before that, and it is absolutely one of my favorite non-fiction books of all time. I think she combines nature writing and science with her indigenous background and you know, sort of the folklore and the creation myths and stories that they tell. So I think, or at least I hope, this is going to be just as good an experience. Yeah, and I think whereas Braiding Sweetgrass was more a general collection of essays, this really focuses on moss, on the topic of moss. So looking forward to that. Then I have In the Kitchen, Essays on Food and Life, which is you know, pretty much what it says on the tin. Different essays on food and eating. And yeah, I love food and I love reading about food. So those were the non-fiction picks, and now for the fiction books that I have. The first one is a translated book. It is called When I Sing Mountains Dance by Irene Solà, and it is translated, it's on the back here, Mara Faye Latham or Leatham. And I didn't know that much about this book. I heard Renee, I think his channel name is called Pierre, talk about this book, and he really loved it, and he compared it to Flames by Robbie Arnott and Lenny by Max Porter, with a touch of Toni Morrison, so I didn't really need to know more. Yeah, don't know much about this book, but Renee convinced me to pick it up, so here we go. So the next book I have is The Secret Lives of Church Ladies by Deesha Philyaw, and this is a short story collection all about church ladies and their secret lives. Yeah, I think this is a lot about sort of expectations from society and the community versus you know, personal desires and wishes and wants. And yeah, this book has gotten lots of praise on BookTube, so I think it's going to be excellent. Then I have Lilly Willows by Sylvia Townsend Warner, and this is a book written in 1926, or at least published in 1926. And I'm going to read to you one sentence from the blurb, and then you'll probably understand why I'm excited to read this. Here we go. This is the witty, eerie, tender but firm life history of a middle-class English woman who politely declines to make the expected connection with the opposite sex and becomes a witch instead. Doesn't that sound good? Then I have The Tie That Binds by Kent Haruf. I actually saw Heather read this book a few months ago, and she didn't really like it because she was expecting a crime novel, and this isn't really one. It starts out like a crime novel though, because there is an 8-year-old woman, you know, who's very old, she's sick, she's in the hospital, and she's charged with murder. And I believe this book is sort of about, you know, how that came about, but more, rather than it being really a crime investigation, it's more an exploration of this woman and, you know, the town she lived in and all the people she's connected to. So yeah, I like those, you know, slow sort of books. I'm not a big fan of crime novels, but this sounds excellent. I also have Corregidora by Gayl Jones, which is one of those Virago modern classics. You know, some books when you're in the bookstore, you know, and you see those green spines, I always pick those up, or at least have a little look. So this is about a blues singer who is really invested in her family's history, and especially a slave master who was connected to her mother and her grandmother. Yeah, it's probably going to be a really hard-hitting book, but you know, it's blurred by Toni Morrison on the front and James Baldwin and Jeremy Jones on the back, so I think it's going to be, yeah, worth my time. And then the last book I have is Clock Without Hands by Carson McCullers. I have read, what's that called? The Heart is a Lonely Hunter and The Member of the Wedding by her, and I really love her writing style, so I picked this up without really looking at what it is about. But yeah, I trust she's gonna tell another good story. So we have, hold on. So here we have 10 short books that I might read for Shorty September. Tell me if you're joining in as well. Tell me if you are joining in as well. What short books can you recommend to me? And maybe until next time. Bye bye.